We are in Perth this morning with Innovate Australia for one of their great summits on climate innovation. So with so many amazing speakers and a great panel today, you're going to hear a lot of ideas of where we're heading with this topic. I'm with Peter Kaspchak. He's one of the founders of Innovate Australia, and he's put in yet again one of the most exceptional summits today, and it's on climate innovation. Peter, why is this important today? And there was a lot of wonderful topics coming up and even heated discussions, if you like, with the panel. Share with us, what do you take away from it and why it's important?
Yeah, look, it's important. I've actually been involved in this area since 90s. Yeah, we participated in early Eco Expo or Eco Expo, depending where you're from, how you pronounce it. But that was in Los Angeles, and we done a lot of programs in Los Angeles. Was at the Global Youth Forum on the Environment in the United Nations, and so I always believe in sort of doing well by doing good, so that motto. And yeah, so with this, as you know, Innovate Australia runs different types of events, but this is a very important topic, and we tell all the speakers, although we had nice heated discussion at some point, which is good, but it was still positive. So they keep, the idea is, keep a positive approach, see what we can do, how innovation can change.
Hi Ray, tell us a little bit about today's forum and why it's important to be innovative when it comes to climate.
Look, I think there's a lot of action around the world. We're seeing the kids rising up with their school strikes. I think it's time we stopped talking about this and taking action. And action is going to require innovation in everything that we do in the economy, across all of our industry sectors, and also in our own behaviour and our own desires. We've got to get behind changing and fixing the climate.
Status quo isn't going to make a difference, is it? We need to really get smart and do some clever things.
Yeah, look, there's good technology rolling out. It's a question now of renewables are commercial, they're commercially competitive. It's actually time we stopped just looking for commercial investment and actually add mandates to the rollout of renewable energy. Battery technology is coming to provide the certainty of supply that we require. Combining those things together works for our energy system, but it also works for our transport system. We can have electrification of transport through batteries, and we're seeing the rise of electric vehicles as we speak, and every day there's a new headline on electric vehicles.
Is there a time you think where batteries are going to become a bit more affordable, especially for homeowners that have solar powered or solar panels on their house?
So there's three levels of batteries. The most expensive level are these things. Electricity in smartphones is really dear. You move it down, the next cheapest place to have it is in motor cars, because transport in motor cars is expensive, and so the energy in motor cars is dearer. The energy that we take to our homes is cheaper again. We've got to go through this scale of moving from the mobile device to the electric car to the home, and then we'll actually have cheap storage for houses.
What specifically are you sharing today with regards to this technology?
So I'm really looking at those commodity uptakes, the facts of things like we now build more solar panels and TV sets. These are just changes in a commodity market, in a consumer market, where the consumers are now looking for solutions that provide them not only with reliable supply, but also with a way of helping save the planet at the same time.
When we burn a tonne of coal or harvest a puff of wind, only 20% of that energy gets to a consumer. The world's best practice is 40%. Now, if you double the amount of electricity that you actually get to a consumer, you automatically halve the emissions and hopefully the price. And this is totally ignored. Got everybody running around here wanting to build windmills or solar panels. Yes. And over here, we say to them, well, you've got to get a more efficient motor car. Right. And sitting in the middle is a transmission system called high voltage AC, designed for an electricity system that was confined to state borders all around Australia. And what's more, coal was so cheap, you didn't mind wasting the value of the coal to save money on the electricity system. Now, as that's all been interconnected, that has become a disaster. But Western Australia is still isolated in that thing, and I will be promoting today two things. One, that we should be using the high efficiency transmission system known as HVDC and interconnect with the eastern states. And one of the advantages we'll get is 3 hours of extra sunshine per day across Australia. So if you want to build solar panels. Secondly, our solar panels are coming to a point where they are a threat to the system. Now there's poor old Collie, and there's a role for coal in all of this. If you halve its emissions per unit, it's a pretty good environmental prospect. So we could keep Collie in business. One of Collie's problems is the current competition of rooftop solar. But it's like this. And the reality is that if they had this integrated system, Collie would be flat out all day with some of the electricity going east. But furthermore, the investors in it, and the government should be an investor, the federal government, the investors in it can go over east and say to the Portland aluminium smelter, which is a big consumer, we will do a marketing deal with you at X because we're paying $3 to a petajoule for gas to generate electricity. They're paying 12. But furthermore, Twiggy Forrest wants to go over there and build an LNG degasifier plant. Wherever he buys the LNG, there will be a 20% utilisation of gas in liquefying it with the associated emissions. So, you know, it doesn't sound very good to me. The pipeline from Dampier to Bunbury was recorded at the time as burning as much energy, 275 megawatts, as a middle-sized Collie power station. And that's to pump it. Everybody thinks the gas runs downhill. It doesn't. So these are the sort of issues. So within the system, we've got all these emission savings we're not using because we only look at one end and the other.
What makes today so special for you?
Well, I like to see an emphasis on innovation because climate change is not about waving banners and trying to be greener. It is actually about the next economy. And that requires innovation, it requires new technology and new systems for managing it. And in the IPCC, my sense is that we're about halfway there. Now, they tend to emphasise what we haven't done, but they don't emphasise what we have done. And I'm today going to talk about some of the good things, the solar, the wind, the batteries, the electric vehicles that are transforming the world very quickly. And on the other hand, the things that are still to happen with industry, heavy transport and land-based systems, which are still a problem. So there's room for innovation, but the innovation is also happening and we need to grasp it and run with it and create a really good new economy. The thing is that most people get very despairing about climate change. I say yes, be despairing about what would happen if we don't do anything, but be aware that the world has dramatically changed in 20 years and we can keep changing dramatically. A lot of people don't want to change, but the change is actually better. It is not harming the economy, it is creating jobs for the future, it's giving my grandchildren an opportunity for life.
Well, thank you so much, Peter. You're an inspiration, and I'm glad that you're sharing a message of hope and a message of progress.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope is it.
We as an organisation need to be quite scalable, dynamic, agile, and there isn't going to be a cookie cutter solution.